So, you're thinking about moving to Austin, Texas, or you're living in Austin, Texas, and wondering what's happening with the Austin housing market. Tis the Austin housing market update, which is definitely something you'll want to understand before considering making your next move. It's December, red blazer, and we're going to look at the recent release of November statistics. So, why should you care? Stay tuned because I'm going to break down what this market means for buyers and sellers. Every month, I'm going to share a 50,000 foot view into the housing market because every zip code, neighborhood, and street housing prices and values differ. And knowing the numbers is important. Knowledge isn't power, knowledge and action is power. And knowing what your money will buy you in various areas matters. So turns out that math matters in the housing market. And speaking of numbers, mortgage rates remain low with variations day to day in the rebate pricing as markets continue to deal with news about the latest virus variant, reacts to concerns about inflation and the Fed raising policy rates sooner than expected in 2022. We were anticipating they'd be a little bit later, but we now think they'll be sooner. All that said, market rates could creep up slightly, and that will affect buying power for many of us. By the way, if this is your first time to this YouTube channel and you want to know everything about living, working, playing, loving, and thriving in Austin, Texas, and you'd like to be connected with some incredible local experts and resources, please subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about current market living in Austin, Texas. My name is Jennifer Goodman, living in Austin, Texas. And whether you are moving in 7 days or 7 weeks, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send an email if you have any questions. So let's get started. Sold units are up 8.76% and 13.22% over the sold units in 2019. We're skipping over 2020 because it was such a random year. And comparing back to 2020. So this double-digit increase over 2019 indicates that the spring will be a strong housing market, barring the government not going crazy with printing money or fear-inducing news locking people down in their tracks. But I digress. The October to November average prices increased by 4%, as you can see from the chart below. And generally, we see a slight average price decline from fall to winter months. And we may see that this continues to stay flat or go up over the winter, buoyed by future announcements of companies moving their headquarters and people to Austin. And people love that their dollars go further here than many other housing markets. So all of those things combined are a beautiful song. So we love that more people are moving from California and New York and Washington State and Colorado. Come on, everyone, bring your diversity. We welcome you all to Austin, Texas. So that said, let's look at the market. The real estate market is always hyper local, and I keep my finger on the pulse of the market for all of us. And for a list of the top 10 median price comparisons by zip code, specifically those zip codes that have shown a jump of 40 to 50% or more in the last year, you'll want to check out the links to my most recent video. Housing market highlights include that total sales are down by 11.6% in the Austin metro and down 11.7% in the Austin city limits. When we look at the Austin City average sold price, it's up by 23%, and the Austin City median sold price is up 23.8%. All good news when you think about that. Like one in every $4 kind of has gone up 25%. So while the days on market is not a hard and fast rule right now, sellers can expect to list their home for about 8 days and then go on contract if they're in the Austin Metro, and 7 days in the city. We are seeing price reductions for homes that were really swinging for the fences and posting just much higher than the market would bear. And we know that the market shifts daily. Fortunately, it doesn't shift by the minute or the day. Like when I look at my crypto portfolio, which was 20% prettier only a few weeks ago. I would insert a sad face, but seriously, like the housing market, gains in the past 365 days are unlike any market we've seen. So our Austin real estate market is super healthy right now. What does this mean? Let's look at this wearing our strategy hat. I've been selling homes for 11 years, first in Toronto, Canada, where bidding wars began 11 years ago. So I've had and have strategies in place for my sellers to earn the most amount of money with the least amount of hassle and the quickest time possible. And I have strategies for my buyers to win bidding wars that go far beyond just this past year in Texas and the bidding wars that we've experienced. My buyer clients win, and it doesn't have to be painful, and you don't have to have your heart broken over and over. The housing market is one that requires finesse, and I anticipate that the market will pick up again in February, March of 2022, like all springs, when sellers start to list their homes and buyers are actively in the sales arena. Strategy is everything for sellers, and just as much as it is for buyers. So if you're a buyer, the next 6 weeks brings buying opportunities, as many people are patiently waiting for the spring market. As a result, there are less houses that are for sale. The spring will offer more houses to buy and more buyers to buy them, as mentioned earlier. So right now is this window of opportunity for serious buyers if there are properties that meet your criteria. And if you are a seller, as mentioned in the stats, November houses are taking on average of 7 to 8 days before being under contract. And the prices remain strong, and chances are you may be sitting on some real equity if you've owned your home for the last 5 years. Sellers, I mentioned this last month, and it's worth mentioning again. If your home is currently for sale and you decide to remove your property from the MLS or the multiple listing services for 90 days, that listing will be considered a new listing in the spring of 2022. Anything less than 90 days, though, it is not considered a new listing. So why is that important? Because buyers like to see that a property hasn't been sitting on the market for longer than they believe it should be on the market. In other words, they may wonder if something is wrong with the house, or it could be the price or the neighborhood or any other determination that they have in their heads. So if your house isn't selling currently, at the end of the day, it's price or it's condition or both, because demand remains steady through this month into January, as we still have more buyers than sellers in Austin, Texas. I'm Jennifer Goodman, living in Austin, Texas. And if you've enjoyed this video and want to know more about living in Austin, please subscribe. And this will ensure that you get the most recent updates about the local Austin market, about real estate. I'll connect you to different people. And really, I'm here to help make loving and working and playing in Austin, Texas that much sweeter for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Either way. And in the meantime, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.